Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Reflections. I know it's a bit early, but sige na, para matapos na rin to, di ba? Tapusin na. Beautiful, beautiful rainy Sunday morning to everyone. Update ko lang, kasi di ba last week, my entry was about how the mind can be very tricky. Di ba nga, parang 2 weeks ago, I didn't feel that well. I got a bit sick. And because it was because of the stress levels. And during that time, when I did last week's soul reflection, I was sharing that I didn't know what I did wrong. Kasi I was just so focused. I was still, I was still doing my routine naman. And hindi ko malaman ano yung difference. And I only realized that the mind can be tricky in a way because it continues to stress out. So, parang, if you all know me, I always believe that we ourselves are greater than our minds, and we can always gain control of our lives with the choices that we make. And of course, si God naman, because the purpose of life is really to be happy, as long as what we want is for the highest good, it will have a positive impact to the people around us, then He will support us. And a lot of times, what our hearts desire is really connected to the will of God. So last week nga, diba, my entry was about the mind being very tricky, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I'm doing a lot of things right now. So I'm completing my PhD, I'm teaching a new subject. So since it's a new subject, I also have to learn it, diba? I have to practice and I have to study on my own. And although marami sa mga ginagawa ko routinal na, so it's quite easy to manage it. But this new thing, the new subject that I'm teaching, and the course that I'm taking in PhD, it really takes a lot of time and effort for me to adjust to it. And the mind was not comfortable with it. Kasi bago diba? So, naninibago talaga. And the mind was stressing so much. So, my technique 2 weeks ago was just to ignore it. Ignore lang. Just focus on the task that's at hand, that's in front of me. And that's it. But then, I still got sick. So, parang, okay, anong mali, diba? Anong mali? Inignore ko naman si mind, inignore ko naman yung mga stress, diba? And all the worries and doubts, but I still got sick. It affected me physically. And during this week, I finally got the answer. So this is a follow-up to last week's entry about the mind being tricky. It's really about using my authority and my power to bring order to the mind. What I was doing before was just ignoring. So parang tinatalikuran ko lang, tapos hinahayaan ko si mind na mag-go lang ng go, nagsistress siya. So, syempre, diba, while the mind is still stressing, I'm just ignoring it. Na-affect yung sa subconscious level, sa consciousness, and it affected my physical body. And during this week, when I realized that dalawang approach sa ignoring. You ignore by, parang hahayaan mo lang. Ignore na pabayaan. Meron din ignore na tumigil ka and then stop na siya. So, yung second one is really utilizing your power, your authority over the mind. Because the mind is our tool. It's an instrument so that we could work well in this life. We need the mind. The mind is, our greatest gift naman talaga, di ba? we couldn't function with our mind not functioning well. It's just that when the mind keeps on overthinking, overanalyzing, it doesn't help us in any way. Kasi 'di ba, the more the mind is stressed out, the more it releases negative thoughts such as doubts or worries. It really affects all other aspects of our life. And what I learned during this week is that it's not enough to just ignore it in such a way na about face lang ako tapos hayaan ko siya na magsalita dyan or mag-negative thinking lang tuloy-tuloy. It's more of using my authority, telling the mind to stop, and hindi ito nakakabuti. So titigil naman si mind nakikinig siya and then ignore na. So I know that it takes practice kasi hindi naman porket sinabihan mo yung mind na isang beses na tumigil ka dyan, 'di ba? Titigil na talaga. It will titigil siya kahit sandali, pero may times babalik na naman. So every time you catch your mind, kasi you really have to be aware. So a lot of awareness comes into this. You have to catch the mind. So pag nahuli mo ulit na nagsistress ulit siya, you have to cut it. You have to use your authority again. So it made me realize na oo nga naman, no, ang pattern ko talaga pag meron akong hindi kinagugustuhan, it's just to ignore and about face lang. Parang hindi ko titignan, kunwari wala lang siya. But then, it's not just with the mind that I'm doing that. In a lot of things, yun yung pattern ko, yun yung tendency ko, the behavior that I have. But this time, it made me realize that there are some things that I really need to face. And I need to use my authority and power to bring order into certain things, into certain situations. I know that a lot of the things in our lives, the situations in our lives are not really within our control, but I'll take whatever semblance of control that I can get. And it's me using my authority and power over things that's going on. And that includes the mind. If the mind continues to stress out, to release negativity such as doubts or uncertainties or worries, I really have to reclaim my power again and use that innate authority inside of me to bring order. Because it really won't help if you just allow things to happen. Ang learning ko dito is that yes, there are things that we need to allow, but there are some things that we cannot allow. And the things that we cannot allow, we need to apply our authority on it so that we could bring order. And during this week, I saw some tawag dito? Hindi benefit Some improvements, that's it. That's the word. I saw some improvements when I really made use of my authority. I saw that life became more orderly. There's still that habitual tendency to be lax, to be complacent, but I'm trying more and more to make use of that authority inside of me and bringing order, not just to how the mind functions or helps me or not help me. Ako naman yung may control sa mind ang mind ko, control ko. Okay, but using my innate power also brings order into the way I do things. It brings order into how I manage my energy, how I manage my time, how I utilize my resources. There's a lot of there's a lot of benefits in using our authority, and this is an invitation for all of you to also go inside and halungkatin nyo yung power inside. I know it's part of the culture or the Filipino mindset to be so nice and be very lax, very complacent. But there are times when we really need to bring order, to control things, 'di ba? Hahanapin nyo lang naman yung balance eh. Remember that too much of something can be also harmful, can be also unhealthy. So, too much niceness, ganun eh. May term ba na ganun? Too much niceness or too much lax and complacency can also be harmful. So make use, make use of the power inside and find that middle ground. Um, Hindi ko sinasabi na ano, balance. It's more of finding your middle ground talaga eh. There are times when we have to swing with too much power and there are times when we have to let go of power. So, hahanapin mo lang, saan ba yung gitna dito? It's not really the balance itself. Yung gitna. Okay, so that's it. Yun yung ano. This concludes the scenario that I found myself in 2 weeks ago. And I'm happy that at least yung health ko na nare-regain ko na rin yung good health and yes, still may hair fall pa rin but hindi na ganun kalala as 2 weeks ago. So I hope that my lesson has also taught you some things. And I wish you well. I know that it has been raining for the past few days, and I wish you all well to be dry and safe and to be protected from the rains. And nagkaroon din ng earthquake, so I pray for everyone's safety. God bless everyone. Take care.